Aries, if right now your father could step across the boundary of eternity to send you a message, what would it be? A stern warning? A gentle encouragement? Or a secret he carried all his life, waiting only for this moment to pass it on to you? In this video, I promise to take you on a journey, both mystical and real, where astrology and the soul meet to decode that urgent message, and you will see. Your father's departure is not the final period. It is the doorway that opens into the new spiritual strength of Aries. If you are truly ready, write down, "I am ready to hear the message from my father." This is not just a statement, it is a way to open the spiritual door within you. And now, Aries, let me take you to your ruling planet, Mars. Because to understand your father's message, you must first understand the strength and the legacy that Mars and your father have placed inside your heart. In astrology, no planet is as closely tied to raw strength and fierce will as Mars. It is called the warrior of the sky, the flame that drives humans to act, to break through, to face challenges without retreat. For Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, Mars is the protector. It not only gives you courage, it plants in your blood the spirit of the pioneer, always wanting to be the first, the one who clears the path. In real life, the father is often the living embodiment of Mars. He is the pioneering flame, the hand that pushed you into the battlefield of life for the first time, teaching you what it means to fall, and more importantly, what it means to rise again from the wound. The father is not always gentle. He can be strict, fiery, sometimes leaving you feeling hurt. But when you look back, you realize it was that very hardness that forged your iron will, one of the core qualities of Aries. I believe that for Aries, every step your father left behind is like a flame lighting the way. Sometimes warm, sometimes fierce, but never extinguished. When he was alive, you felt clearly that he was the guide. He stood in front, like Mars leading the other planets forward. But when he left, his absence made you feel as if the sky itself had lost a star. Astrology teaches us that the light of a planet never disappears. Mars may leave one position, but its energy is always passed on, like a torch in hand. When your father left, the flame was not extinguished. It was placed inside your heart. I have witnessed many Aries go through this experience. They collapsed, wept in silence, burned with anger. But then they stood up. And when they rose again, they no longer carried only their own strength, but the strength of their father, of an entire generation. Do you remember the last time your father looked into your eyes? It may have been a worried look, as if to say, "Be strong." It may have been a proud look, shining with faith in you. It may even have been a sorrowful gaze, for he knew you would have to walk on without his shelter. The last looks often carry no words. But sometimes, silence is the most sacred language, a message not in letters but in spirit. It carves itself like a constellation in your memory, so that each time you remember, you are reading again a celestial letter your father left only for you. Your father's departure reminds Aries of one thing. Strength does not lie only in victories out there, but in the endurance of the inner spirit. You may climb the mountain peaks, win in your career, conquer the world, but if your heart collapses before loss, then all that glory is but an illusion. Your father is no longer here to hold your hand. And it is precisely for that reason that you learn the greatest lesson: victory in solitude. When there is no one behind you, you still stand, you still move forward. That is the true triumph, the triumph of the soul. I once met an Aries woman. Her father died when she was 20. For many years, she lived with the feeling of being abandoned. But it was that very emptiness that taught her to become strong, to become the head of her family. And after many years, she said to me, "If my father were still alive, perhaps I would forever have remained a dependent child. He left so that I could learn to become the very person he had hoped for." In astrology, Mars never stands alone. It always forms aspects with other planets, and each aspect reflects a part of the relationship with the father. Mars square the moon. It often reveals emotional conflicts with the father. You may have been angry with him, may have not understood him, yet those very conflicts shaped your growth. Mars trine the sun. This shows a natural continuation. You resemble him so much that you sometimes do not realize it. Each decision you make carries his imprint. Mars opposite Saturn, the father may have been strict, imposing. But that very sternness created a framework in which your character was trained. Through countless charts I have seen, every father's departure carries its own astrological lesson. And for Aries, that lesson is always linked to the transfer of strength from father to child. I remember a night when my own father passed. I sat beneath the sky watching Mars glow red at the horizon. It looked quiet, yet burning. And I understood. My father was no longer outside, but he still lived within each courageous decision I made. From then on, each time I faced a trial, I lifted my eyes to the heavens, and I believed that red flame was still whispering, "You can do it. I believe in you." For me, this is both a personal viewpoint and a truth. The departed do not vanish. They only change their place from outside into the chambers of our hearts. Not only within the family, the father is also a social symbol. He represents discipline, tradition, the values passed from one generation to the next. His departure compels Aries to take on social responsibility. From a child, you become a guardian for the family, for the community. And it is here that the spirit of Mars shines. You are the one who rises when others fall, the one who steps forward when others hesitate. If you too have ever felt that your father still lingers somewhere in each step you take, write down, "My father is still in my heart, and I will continue to keep alive the flame he left behind." When you write it, you are not only affirming it to the community, you are affirming it to your own soul, and that is a sacred act. And now I want to leave you with a question. If your father's flame has been placed in your hands, how will you use it? To light only your own path, or to brighten the home, the roots, the family legacy? In the next part, we will step into the fourth house of astrology, the place of origins and memory. There, you will understand more deeply. Your father's departure does not only leave emptiness, but lays the firm foundation on which you can build a new legacy for generations to come. Dear Aries, we have just walked with Mars, your ruling planet, the mirror of strength and the legacy your father planted in your heart. But to understand his message more fully, we must look deeper into the chart, specifically into the fourth house. In astrology, the fourth house is called the root, the place you return to when weary, the spiritual home, the memories tied to parents and ancestors. When powerful movements happen here, when a planet passes through or an important aspect is formed, it is often a sign the ancestors are sending you a message. The fourth house is not only family, it is the root of the entire chart, the soil that nourishes every light and every storm in your life. Loss here does not only shake a household, it shakes the soul. If the sun is the light you shine to the world, if the moon is the well of your inner feelings, then the fourth house is the root, the soil that nourishes them both. In the chart of Aries, when the fourth house trembles, it is the reminder. Return to the root, to memory, to family. That is where you will find not only sorrow, but also the strength to heal. Some people ask me, how do I know my father is still with me? My answer is, look at the fourth house. Every vibration there is his whisper, not through words, but through the events, the changes, the signs in your life. Through many years of working with astrology, I have seen thousands of charts, and I discovered something strange. Every time the fourth house is shaken, there's always a hidden message behind it. For some, it is loss, a loved one leaving. For others, it is reunion, the family healed after years of distance. For others still, it is the sudden memory of a childhood moment thought forgotten. I do not believe these are coincidences. They are signals from the ancestors. A way one generation whispers to the next. We have carried this pain. Now it is your turn to walk forward. Take the torch farther. You are not only an individual, you are the continuation of a stream. And in that stream, your father is an irreplaceable link. Imagine life as a river. You are swimming on the surface, but deep below, thousands upon thousands of drops from the ancestors are lifting you up. Without them, you could not exist. The father's departure may make you think you are abandoned. But astrology reminds you, he did not leave the river. He returned to the greater flow, to continue lifting you from beneath. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine your father still standing behind you, quietly placing his warm hand upon your shoulder, whispering, "Keep walking, you are stronger than you think." You may not see him, but that feeling, that safety, that encouragement is always there, like a breeze across your skin, like a faint light flickering in your heart. I once met an Aries man. His father died just as he was starting his own family. For many years, he lived with emptiness, not knowing where to lean. One day, when Saturn passed through his fourth house, he returned to the old home, the place where his father had sat each evening to read. He sat down in the old wooden chair, closed his eyes, and suddenly, tears fell. Yet along with them came a strange peace. He told me, I felt as if my father were still there, placing his hand on my shoulder, telling me to be strong. And for the first time in years, I no longer felt orphaned. That is the power of the fourth house. It reminds you, the roots never vanish. They wait for you to return and draw strength. The fourth house does not only speak of your personal family. It also reflects social legacy, the values passed across generations. Your father not only taught you how to live, he taught you how to keep tradition, how to connect community. Losing him may make you feel alone, but in truth, it is the moment you become the bridge, linking values from past to present, from grandparents to grandchildren. You are no longer a small individual. You become the bearer of social responsibility, the duty to continue, to build, to preserve. If these words touch you, I invite you to share a memory of your father, a phrase, an action, a moment. Write it down. My father once told me, when you write, you are not only remembering, you are keeping that memory alive and you are sharing his flame with the world. And now let me leave you with a question. If the fourth house is the root, the place you find your father, then how can you heal the wound when that house carries the weight of loss? The answer lies in a small but powerful body, Chiron, your wound of the soul. In the next part, we will discover why this very wound becomes the gift of healing, and how Aries can turn loss into unshakable spiritual strength. In astrology, beyond the shining planets, there are small celestial bodies with profound meaning. Chiron is one of them. Chiron is often called the wounded healer, the symbol of the pains we carry through life, the wounds that never disappear, but precisely for that reason become the source of compassion and healing for others. For many Aries, Chiron lies in crucial positions of the chart. This means the loss of a father, or the fractures in that relationship, is a wound carved deep into the soul. Not just the physical absence, but the spiritual emptiness, a gap that nothing can fill. But Chiron does not appear to crush you. It comes as a silent teacher, handing you a gift wrapped in the shell of pain, so that you yourself must open it and find inside the healing power that no one else but you can possess. It is proof that through the cracks, the light enters. I have studied thousands of charts, and I have seen, whenever Chiron of Aries is activated, it is often the moment they face a great loss. But at the same time, it is the moment they grow beyond measure. The wound does not come to destroy you. It comes to make you look at the most fragile part of yourself, and from there, build inner strength. I too carried the wound of losing my father very young. For many years I ran from it. I tried to appear strong, but then I realized only when I dared to sit down to cry, to admit that I hurt, was the moment I began to be truly strong. The wound never disappeared, but it became a bridge, helping me understand and feel the pain of others. And I believe that for Aries, this is the mission of Chiron, to turn loss into the power of healing. When you overcome the pain of losing your father, you do not only grow for yourself, you become the anchor for others. Aries has always been the pioneer, the one who goes first. But the universe does not allow you to lead with pride alone. It wants you to lead with compassion, with deep understanding. And it is the wound of the father that brings you to that lesson. Remember this. Your father never wished to see you collapse forever in sorrow. He wished to see you rise, to become a stronger and kinder version of yourself. The one who can embrace others in pain and say, I understand because I too have been there. Perhaps your father is no longer sitting at the dinner table. You no longer hear his advice. You no longer see his gentle smile after each story. But every time you face hardship and still remain standing, that is the moment he smiles with pride. That smile, you cannot see it with your eyes, but you can feel it with your heart. It appears in the unexpected peace when you thought you would break. It appears in the sudden strength that arrives when you are ready to give up. For Aries, the father may have gone far, but he is always there. In every moment, you are stronger than yourself. I once spoke with an Aries man in his 40s. He told me his father had died when he was still in high school. For many years, he lived in anger. He blamed fate. He blamed life. But when he married and became a father himself, he realized the wound never disappeared. It transformed into a reminder. He became a devoted father because he knew what it meant to lose protection. He taught his children with discipline, but also with the love he had once longed for. He said to me, "If I had not gone through the pain of losing my father, I might never have known how to become a good father myself." That is Chiron, turning loss into a gift to be shared. Not only individuals, but every community also carries a collective Chiron, a common wound. It may be war, it may be loss, it may be fractures in history. For Aries, the pain of losing a father is not yours alone. It connects you with millions of others, those who too have sat silently in the night, remembering a hand that is no longer there. When you heal yourself, you also help heal the community. And this is the highest human value of Chiron, turning personal wounds into shared light, guiding others on their way. Do you believe that your father is still watching and praying for you every day? If you do, write down, "My father is always with me in every step I take." Let those words be an affirmation, not only for yourself, but for the community walking together on this journey of healing. But there is something more. If Chiron is the wound that teaches you how to heal, then the next question is, how do you turn that legacy, that wound, into a mission of life? The answer lies in Saturn, the planet of discipline, of lasting inheritance. In the next part, we will discover the father does not leave behind only memories, but a sacred mission for you to continue writing the story of the family line with the strength of Aries. Dear Aries, we have walked through Mars, the warrior's flame, through the fourth house, the roots of family, through Chiron, the wound of the soul. And now we come to a special planet, a planet without dazzling light, but with profound weight. Saturn. In astrology, Saturn is called the old teacher, the ruler of law, of discipline, of enduring values. It does not bring easy joy. It delivers hard lessons, but those are the very lessons that stay with us all our lives. And when speaking of the father, Saturn is the clearest symbol of the spiritual legacy he leaves. Not wealth, not a house, but silent principles, small words of advice, values carved deep like Saturn's imprint on stone, enduring, unbreakable. In the birth chart, Saturn is often tied to what is heavy, what requires patience, but it is also the solid foundation upon which a life is built. When Saturn moves through important points, especially the 4th or the 10th house, it is often the time we face directly the inheritance of the father. It may be a loss that forces us to look back. It may be a challenge that demands we apply what he once taught. Saturn does not come to make you suffer. It comes to remind you, what truly remains, no one can take away. And for Aries, that legacy is courage, strength, and the unyielding spirit your father passed down. I have met many Aries in my life. Looking into their charts, I see a pattern. Their fathers often left little material wealth, but they left something greater, the spiritual lesson. A father may not leave you a house, but he leaves you the habit of rising early, of working hard, of keeping promises. He may not leave you money, but he leaves you the belief that you can create everything with your own hands. He may not leave you fame, but he leaves you a name, a character, a pride with which you can walk tall. And I believe that is the true inheritance. There is a truth few realize. The greatest inheritance is not houses, not money. All of those can be lost. They can be changed. The greatest inheritance a father leaves is courage, the ability to stand in the storm, the unbreakable spirit that nothing can destroy. And the miracle is this: when you live with that legacy, you do not keep it only for yourself. You are passing it on to the next generation, to your children, to those who walk after you, to the community that is watching you. Pause for a moment. Listen to your heart. What is the greatest thing your father wanted you to inherit? A phrase he repeated again and again? A habit he planted in you as a child? Or a belief he always held firm, even when life tested him? Perhaps your father did not say much, but what he left in your heart, that is the letter that will never fade. Think again. What did he most want you to inherit? I once knew an Aries man who worked like a tireless warrior. When his father died, he did not inherit any significant property. Outsiders looked in and said, he received nothing. But he smiled and said, "My father left me the habit of never giving up. He taught me, if you begin, you must finish, and that is the greatest inheritance. No one can ever take it away." Today, he has built a stable career, and whenever people ask him the secret of his success, he does not mention skill or luck. He simply says, "I live the way my father lived." A father does not only teach a child, he plants seeds for society. When you live with courage, you inspire others. When you keep integrity, you become an example. When you keep moving forward, you prove that the legacy of your father does not belong only to you, it belongs to the whole world you are helping to build. And here's what I want to emphasize. Spiritual legacy never disappears. It flows across generations like an underground river, nourishing everyone who is touched by it. Try writing down, right now, "The most precious thing my father left me is." When you write it, you do not only keep that memory alive, you are sharing that legacy with the community so that each person here can feel the strength of fathers, whether they are still present or have gone far away. But there is something more. If your father has left you a spiritual legacy, then the question is, what will you do with it? Will you keep it locked in your heart, or will you turn it into action, into a mission of life? In the next part, we will explore the mission of Aries after loss, where pain is no longer a burden, but becomes the call to rise, to become the light for both family and community. Dear Aries, when we speak of loss, the human heart usually thinks of endings. But in astrology, especially when we speak of Aries, the pioneer, the one at the very beginning of the zodiac, loss carries another meaning. It is a call for you to rise, to become the guide. Losing a father is one of the heaviest trials a human being can endure. But for you, Aries, this moment is not only silent grief. It is the moment when Mars, your ruling planet, urges you to light the torch, to step forward, to become the light that your family, your community needs. In the zodiac wheel, Aries stands first. You are the opening flame, the one who gives birth to the journey. Any great event that touches your life rarely affects only you. It radiates outward to those around you. For another sign, losing a father might remain only a personal sorrow. But for Aries, it is the call to become the pillar, to step into the role your father once held. Astrology shows that when heavy planets like Saturn or Pluto move through the 4th or 10th house of Aries, it often marks a turning point with the father. But at the same time, it is when the universe places upon your shoulders a mission, to rise, to stand as the support for your family. I too lost my father when I was still young. At first, it felt like emptiness, like confusion. But over time, I realized my father had stopped, and I, with the flame still burning in my chest, was the one meant to continue walking. For Aries, this mission is clearer than for any other sign. Because you were born to be the pioneer, to open the road, to move forward when others hesitate. And in the loss of your father, you are called to live true to that essence, to become the guiding light. Losing a father may make you think you are alone. But the truth is, in that moment, you are given the chance to turn pain into shared strength. Aries is not only a solitary warrior. You are the flame of inspiration. When you rise from loss, you become living proof that human beings can be stronger than destiny itself. And in rising, you give your siblings, your children, your friends a model to follow. This is the moment to turn sorrow into mission. A mission not only to heal yourself, but to awaken faith in those who are weak, showing them that they too can rise. If today your father could stand before you, I believe he would place his hand upon your heart and say, "My child, become the very light you once sought in me." And one day you will see that light has been within you all along. You once looked up to him as the lamp that guided you. Now that he is gone, the universe wants you to become that lamp yourself. Not to replace him, but to continue him. Not to forget the pain, but to transform it into light for those still here. I once met an Aries woman in her 30s. Her father died suddenly, leaving a great void in the family. At first, she fell into crisis, feeling as if the world had collapsed. But then she realized, if she broke down, her mother would have no support, her younger brother would be lost. So she stood up. She became the keeper of the flame for the family. She took over her father's work, cared for her mother, guided her brother. She told me, "I never thought I could be so strong. But that loss gave me the chance to grow, to become the light for those I love." That is the truest image of the Aries mission after loss. Aries never stops at the self. You are the sign of action, of beginnings. When you rise from sorrow, that energy does not lift only you. It spreads to the community. In society, those who have endured loss and still remain standing often become the greatest sources of inspiration. You tell your story, and hundreds, thousands find their hope in it. Your father is gone, but he has given you a task, not only to live for yourself, but to shine for those who are lost in the dark. And now I want to ask you, are you ready to carry that torch? If you are, write down, I am ready to become the light of my family. When you write it, you are not only affirming it to me, you are affirming it to your own soul, that you are ready to accept the mission your father left. But there is still more. If you have become the light, then what will that light illuminate? Will it shine only on the path you walk? Or will it open a greater vision, the legacy you will leave for the generations to come? Dear Aries, we have traveled a long path together. Through Mars, the warrior's flame. Through the fourth house, the roots of family. Through Chiron, the wound of the soul. Through Saturn, the lasting legacy. And finally, through the mission you must continue. And now I want to leave you with the most important truth of all. Your father never truly left. He only changed his place, from the hand that once held you to the heartbeat within you today. He has not vanished. He has merged into your blood, your breath, into every brave decision you make. Every step you take, he walks with you. Every victory you win, he smiles with pride. Every time you nearly fall, he places his hand on your shoulder and whispers, "My child, you are far stronger than you think." This is the urgent message your father leaves. Live. Move forward. Light the world with your own flame. I want to thank you for the courage to listen to words not easy to hear, for daring to open your heart to your own pain. Not everyone is strong enough to face loss, but you have done it. And by staying until the end, you have proven you are ready to enter the new journey of your soul. Thank your father for leaving the world an Aries who is resilient, fiery, and full of love. Now, I want to invite you to act. If what I've shared has touched your heart, leave a like, share this message so that the flame of hope can reach more people. Somewhere out there, a soul may be waiting for these very words to rise again. And write down right now, I am ready to ignite the flame my father left me. Do not hesitate to leave your own story in the comments. I will read them, I will respond, and I believe this community will stand with you, keeping that flame alive. And finally, remember, the journey of Aries does not end here. This is only one chapter in the great book of your soul. In the parts to come, we will continue to explore other gifts, other treasures the universe has given you, so that you will not only carry the legacy of your father, but also write the next great story of your own.